Welcome to Pharma Semicon 2016. I'm here with Marc Limacher from INOVIS. Welcome, I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you.
You are founder and CEO of INOVIS. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
So a very unorthodox background as a CI founder, because I came out of investment banking on the West Coast in San Francisco, where we were doing market intelligence for investment purposes. And back in the late 80s, it was an opportunity to provide the same kinds of services to non-investment clients. So being in Silicon Valley, of course, I went to the Apples, to the Ciscos, the HPs, the Genentechs, and they all embraced it, which gave us the idea to basically start the business in 1992, just focusing on those two industries, IT and life science. And we stay loyal to those two industries for the past 25 years.
Interesting. And what exactly does your company do, and in which way is it involved in competitive intelligence?
So we do basically focus on difficult to obtain intelligence, meaning we only focus on primary intelligence, human intelligence. And what we do is basically talking to stakeholders of our clients' targets or competitors. That means talking to current customers, existing accounts, channel partners, anyone really that's relevant who is a stakeholder of the competitor. And then we get back to the clients, give them scenarios, upside, downside, realistic case scenarios. Or it could be very tactical in that we give them these sales enablement tools called battle cards, sell against guides, or more lovingly, kill sheets, so that can sell more effectively to their target audiences, in a nutshell.
In your opinion, what does it take to have an efficient CI process in a company?
Well, a lot of it has to do with, of course, early anticipation, which is really the value of CI. You don't want to react, you want to be able to proact a potential opportunity or mitigate the risk that's coming your way. What that means is that you've got to have buy-in from key stakeholders, particularly management. I think that's the most crucial thing, that management sees the value of CI and therefore funds it, gives it headcount, and also regularly it has interactions with the CI team. If you have those ingredients, I think you're in for longevity for the CI function in almost any company. And then, of course, you need good partners. No sales pitch, right? But you really need reliable partners with global reach to get you to these hard-to-obtain intelligence pieces that are not in the public domain. That's the crucial piece. If it's public domain, it's not intelligence, it's just information and data.
And in your session here at Semicon, you talk about the evolution of competitive intelligence during the past years. Could you give us some insight into that?
Sure. So in the old days, well, when I say old days, as old as 3 years ago, the principal stigma was always to be first to know for the CI manager. And nowadays, it's really more first to anticipate, to add this value add to the CI function. And now we live in perfectly efficient markets, right? Everybody has access to the same information at any moment in time, anywhere in the world. Therefore, you've got to be faster than these perfectly efficient markets, which means go to sources that are not in the public domain, which means human primary intelligence sources. And to me, that's really the new mantra, if you will, of CI, to focus more on primary intel, but then also how you process the primary input into these tangible outputs we talked about earlier. Right?
Which challenges do you see there, and how do you face them, and how do you help your customers to overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge is really not having information overload, because still too many CI teams, and having done this for 25 years and going to all these conferences like yours, the overarching themes remain the same. Is how can we make ourselves more relevant in the C-suite to senior management? How do we get a seat at the table? And it makes it so difficult now, because chances are your CEO at 7 a.m. in the morning, he or she gets her download of key crucial intel pieces. He or she forms her own conclusions, and if you come up at 9 a.m. and send out a news bite with your implications analysis, it's too late, because they already have formed their conclusions. Again, it goes back to anticipatory intel. Create or cultivate your own proprietary sources of feeds, of primary intelligence feeds, and that way you have the value add, and you have a seat at this table by challenging them with scenarios and potential outcomes. That keeps them awake at night. If you are the one who is the provocateur, more so than the information pusher, then you have job security, basically.
Okay. How do you expect, looking into the future, will competitive intelligence develop? How do you think or wish it will be, and how do you think you might even change or also shape the future of it?
I think more and more the CI teams will be forced to focus on high value adding functions. So things that you can commoditize, things that you can outsource, which are really the data aggregation piece, and you can give that to one of these many software houses that are here at the conference and exhibit. That's a commoditizable function because everybody can do it. Sorry to say that to the software houses, but it's really something the CI manager shouldn't waste his or her time on. They should focus on the back end, right? The so what and the now what piece. So do the implications analysis piece, do the recommendations piece, do the scenario planning piece. That's the value add, really. So I think that's the trend we are seeing more and more, that you outsource these commodity functions and really spend your time on those value-adding back-end functions more and more.
We were talking before about that you have already been here at Semicon a couple of years ago. Now you're at our launch event, Pharma Semicon, for the first time. What do you expect from the event? What insights do you hope to gain, and what would you like to take home?
We go to several conferences. This is one of them, and we like it so far. It's day one, but first impressions count, and they're positive. So I think what we try to get out of it is a lot of input from prospects and current clients to some of our newer offerings. That's always valuable. It's nice, of course, to network, sharing best practices with colleagues from different industries beyond IT and life science.
Yes.
And I think to us that's the key. And we always look, of course, for fresh talent. So we try, hopefully we find some talent that we can hire, not just in Germany or Europe, but globally. Because we keep growing even after 25 years, so we need more talent. And it's hard to find qualified talent.
Okay, well, I hope you can find all that here. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
Happy to hear you, and have fun at the conference.
We shall.